In today's video, we are going to look at how to return an item that's on a special order. And really, we're not returning the item, we're just refunding the customer. And there's a couple of ways to do it, but I think this is the best approach. So let's go ahead and start with entering a special order. So I'll choose a customer, and then let me choose a couple of items. It's easy. Let's see. Here we go. So this item, let's say I want to order 20 of these magazines, and then let's choose one more item. Let's find one that has 0 stock. So I'll just choose this other magazine that has 0 stock. So you'll notice that we have 0 stock and 0 available. So none have been committed at this point. So we'll order 20 of these and one of these, and I'll go ahead and proceed with accepting a deposit. So I'll take cash. And you can change the required amount on a deposit for a special order. So let's make sure we click special order so it suspends the transactions. We don't want to complete the sale because they're not taking the items. All right, so I've got 2 items on this order, and you'll see that it's a special order. Now we can go ahead and pull that order back up. So let me click new sale, and I'll click on suspended sales, and I'll unsuspend here. All right, so you'll notice immediately that I've got the stock on this first item is a -1, right? The available, I should say. And the reason why the available is -1 is if I look at this particular item, you'll notice that I have 1 committed and 0 on hand. So basically, to calculate availability, our system takes the on hand and subtracts what's committed. So I've got 1 committed on this item, and if I look at the other magazine, I should have 20 committed, which is what I have. Now, let's say the customer called up and they've changed their mind. They don't want one of the items. Rather than deleting the item, what you can do, just so you can keep track of the item, and it's also the proper way to update the committed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the quantity ordered to 0. Now, this means that you actually, and you can ignore that warning message that comes up, but you'll notice that you owe the customer money. So if they paid you by credit card, you can just hit continue and process the card. If it's cash, you can just go ahead and add the cash payment. So you want to make sure that you add the payment, and once you process the card, or in this case, I'm just giving them back cash, I can just suspend the transaction again. All right, so you'll notice at this point, it changed the first line item to 0. And if I bring the transaction back up, I'll go ahead and click suspended sales. And you'll notice that it still shows 0 on this item. And if you hit continue, it still will show the 2 payments that were made. One was the initial deposit, and the second one was the actual refund. Now, again, it doesn't matter if this is a serialized item or a non-serialized item. It's for any special order. When you're returning items, you just want to change the quantity. So, for example, if they called you up again and said, hey, you know what? I only want 10 of those magazines. All I have to do is change this to 10, and I can hit continue. Again, I can refund their money, which in this case, I owe them $477. I'll add that payment, and I can just go suspend the transaction again. Now, I just want to show you what it does from the committed sales situation. If I go back and unsuspend this transaction, you'll notice that if I look at this item, the CZ, I've got 10 committed now instead of the 20. And of course, on the first item, you can tell it's correct because it shows 0 available, but just to show you, in the inventory, it shows 0 committed, 0 on hand. So then when they're ready to pick up the item, assuming you received some inventory, so at this point, let's just go ahead and we'll just make an inventory adjustment. Obviously, you want to receive using the purchasing module, but in this case, I'll just say I got 25 in stock, and I'll hit save, and I'll hit done. So at this point, I can go ahead and enter the quantity that we are going to give them, which in this case is 10, and I can click continue. And there's no money due at this point, so I can just click complete sale, and we're done with the transaction.